Hey guys, it is Jacob with Woodsy RC and Red's RC Raceway. I wanted to come and bring a video to you guys using my TRX4, the new high trail that I got not too long ago, and putting short course tires on it. Tires are actually Duratrax Punch short course C2, and they do really well at the track on my short course trucks. They've been on my low C, on my slash, and now I want to try them on this crawler and see how they do, because they are probably a little bit cheaper than buying some actual crawler tires for crawling. And if you can get into it that way, that'd be great. But I'm going to cut in and out and kind of tell you what I was thinking using these tires, and just kind of let y'all watch the video and see what y'all think as well. In this area right here, they did really well crawling over those first part of rocks, and as you can see right here, when I flipped over, they grabbed in the dirt really well, which was great. Didn't work out for me though, because I had to cut and flip my truck back over and get back up there where I was. But going up this little spot right here, which is not too steep, but they did really well. And whenever I get to the next part, I will let you know what I think about it. Oh yeah, and if you're gonna drive through water with these tires, make sure you tape up the vent holes. That's very important. Alright guys, so we're at this next part right here, and I didn't really know where to go in at this creek that's close to the racetrack, but where I was at, I was trying to go through it without diff lock and trying to make it work like that, but that did not happen. So I had to put it in front diff lockers right here to get over this rock, this little piece of concrete anyway. And what I noticed right here with those tires is that they perform really well as long as you're not in a predicament where you need that extra bend and that rollover that a crawler tire has. And you put it in a situation that all it needs is just straight traction, and it doesn't need the rubber to fold over a rock or to fold over any kind of piece of concrete or whatever you're trying to go through. It does really well. These tires that I'm using, these short course tires, they're not soft enough like the stock Canyon Trail tires that come on this truck. So these lack in their capabilities to grab onto the concrete, and it just cuts loose really easy, really easy. When I come through right here, I back up and I cut to that concrete block on the right, and I was really surprised how it grabbed and went up that without any tire deformation. It just walked up it. And when you get to the slick part with the leaves and pine needles, it doesn't go through very well because the tires are so small. But right here, it did really well, and I was very surprised on how well it went up this, because you can't tell it on camera, but this is a really steep incline. Also, I had to go through a little bit more water. This is kind of deep right here, and I wanted to see how it did when it got into the water really deep. And it just went right through it. Like I said, those tires are more aggressive looking than the Canyon Trails, and they hooked and went right through that dirt and stuff. But I need to get better at using my camera. But right through here, where I think the Canyon Trail tires that came stock on this vehicle would do better, is grabbing that root that the front just went over and what's on the other side of that root and deforming to the ground right there where that is, where these tires did not, because they're so stiff. It just took a little bit more extra power to get up it, and you'll see here in a second. That's one way to get out of it. See, as you can tell, I really gave it all it had, and it just bumped itself out of there, and it got enough traction to do that. but I feel like that was a more power thing than it was actually having traction. Right through here, I'm just kind of messing around back and forth. There's nothing else really going on in through here unless I get deep on into that creek bed. But yesterday we was trying to go up this little hill, or this little bank to the right, and I never made it up it with my Canyon Trail tires, and my buddy never made it up in his Bronco. But I was gonna see if I could try to get up it with these tires, but no such luck, as you can see. Where these have their faults is the tread pattern is so weird because these tires will slick over really easily. So this is actually a really cool spot. So I take my Summit right here when the water's down in the pond, because this is right there by the pond. And I take my Summit right here and climb up this levee all down through there from one side of the pond to the other when the water's down. Well, the water was kind of, you can see where it kind of dried the leaves right there. So I was like, well, I'll take the TRX4 right through here and see if I can get up it. And it did really well, just like how the Summit does, really. And it got to just about the same spot that the Summit usually does. But whereas in the Summit, I can still creep up it, I had to back up and really give it throttle to get up it. And that's what I'm noticing with these tires is I've always got to give it more throttle to get up anything, because it doesn't have that tire deformation that Summit does, or even its stock tires does. Right here, I just kind of went down this hill and tried to come back. This other side of the levee, I went down this hill and tried to come back up it. Ended up not working out so well, and I went into like a down limb. A couple years back, we had a bunch of trees fall, and I did my best to try to clear it all up, and then more trees fell, and it just got awful down in that little area. But getting up this hill proved to be very challenging with these tires, because yesterday I went right up it with those stock Canyon Trail tires that was on this. And I guess it might be because of the leaves and how much taller the Canyon Trail tires are, those 2.2s, than these short course tires that I put on there. But right here, they wouldn't get up it. And even when I put it in second gear and just tried to fly up it, it eventually just went over there into those sticks on the left. No good. So right here, I basically just went back across these rocks on the way back, and I was going up to the track, and I wanted to see if I could get through here without diff lock, and I really can't remember if I did or not. I want to say I did, but it seemed quite easy, and it did really well gripping on those rocks, which was rather slimy and wet, because it was right there by the pond, and you can see all the algae, and some of that algae was on top of it. But I wanted to cut back through here and come through again, just because it's a fun little play area. So here's the part where I kind of got weird with it. I actually had short course tires on the truck, so I wanted to go to the track where I use them, and mainly just wanted to take the truck around the track and drive over the jumps and stuff like that. I'm really thinking about trying to get more content at the track, of course, but I'm really thinking about getting a bunch of crawlers and trying to go around the track in like second gear, having a little crawler race. I think that'd be kind of fun, and do something like that. But my main focus of wanting to bring the truck out here was I wanted to see how it gripped and if it slid or was still really top heavy. And from what I figured, it was really top heavy still. And with those smaller tires, it really felt like it took a lot of weight down low away that the Canyon Trail 2.2s gave it. So while going around the track, it was wanting to roll over and stuff like that. The flex with these tires was great, and there wasn't any rubbing. So that was a really cool part with these smaller short course tires, is you didn't have to worry about hitting the body or anything like that. This is actually really funny. right here, I was going to try to just to crawl across that little ditch or whatever, but I was like, wait, I wonder if this is geared up good enough to actually jump across this gap. It made it. I'm just a bad driver. This part of the video, I wanted to go around the second part of the track, and that's basically it. I just wanted to see, because this track is a little bit more rough than the other one on the left, and I wanted to see how it ran different, if anything was different, and it really wasn't. It's just a crawler. It's kind of slow, but, you know, I still think it'd be fun, because like right here, there's some whoops, and there's a little small double right there. You can see it come over. Did not clear it, and I'm a bad driver. I hit the pop. So next, I was trying to back up in this ditch and then crawl my way out because I didn't have a good angle to go in the ditch going forward. And then when I got right here, my battery died. So luckily I had one with me. This part right here always has water in it, and I just wanted to see how muddy it was, so that's why I drove across here. It wasn't that muddy, and I went right through it with ease. And I kind of made a couple circles in it, but it was kind of boring to watch, so I didn't put that in the video. This right here is actually a little rock garden that's in the driveway around this tree, and we crawl our TRX4Ms on it. Just about every crawler I've had, I've brought out here. And this went around this whole thing with no diff lock. I was really surprised how well it did. Even with these smaller tires though, the servo is still weak. So a new servo is very much needed. So that metal and stuff that's right there that I'm fixing to crawl over, I use it for trailer stops so my trailer won't roll down the hill. That's why that's there, but it makes a good obstacle. And like I said, I went right over this too with no diff locks on or anything. I'm trying to name this little circle right here of rocks, and I don't know what to name it. I'm trying to figure it out. You know, I think it'd be really neat to have different names for different obstacles as you're crawling, or different names for different parts of the track also. Overall, I thought the tires did really well, and I do recommend trying them out yourself to see what you think. But to finish it off, this is just me climbing up the Joker Lane hill and turning slightly to the right because I thought it looked cool. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn notifications on. I appreciate all you guys, and I hope y'all have a blessed day.